All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it again, bringing you a brand new supply and demand analysis video and trade review all in one. It's going to be fantastic. So make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, and make sure those notifications are on. All right, so let's get straight into it because we have a lot to cover. This is going to be fantastic. We are going to be looking at the Japanese yen futures, the Swiss futures, the S&P 500, the US 2000, silver, BTC. My gosh, we are going to cover a lot. So let's just start with Japanese yen, and let's do the analysis starting on the daily time frame, kind of what I've been looking at over the last couple of weeks and how I've been playing the yen and how I plan on playing the yen in the future. All right, so I basically have all these zones already drawn out, so there won't be too much drawing. It's going to be more of an explanation. Clearly, this area of demand has been holding multiple times. This little rally base rally right in here has been tested once, twice, three times, maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's held every single time. So I was actually looking for buying opportunities when prices were back into this area. Because why? Well, we were in a sideways market and it's held 5, 6 times. So maybe potentially it might hold again. So I'm not just going to straight out buy the zone. Instead, I'm going to maybe go down to a smaller time frame and see, hey, maybe I can catch a long opportunity because the last 6 times it's been in this area, it's been respecting it. So clearly the buyers have taken control each time. Maybe they might take control again. All right, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Now, when it came to supply, this is really the current supply zone that I have up in here because it broke upward momentum. It's removed areas of demand. And we can see that really, even if we drag it across, this is where sellers were really taking the market. We're taking control of the market. And actually, we're going to talk mainly about sideways markets and some trending markets, but mainly sideways. And I'll explain to you guys how I've been executing my trades regarding these sideways markets because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see a sideways market. But since then, we have removed it, so I can actually remove this area of demand now. And now regarding supply, I still want to keep my area of supply up here because it's still holding. I don't see anything here in these 4 or 5 red candlesticks, maybe on smaller time frames, but relative to the daily time frame, I don't like anything. This is the next area of demand that I like. Why? Because it broke this downward channel before. It's removed multiple areas of supply on its way out. It's got really good imbalances, as in strong buyers coming in with these big black candles. And now we're coming back down to this area where it has not been tested yet. So I like this area for buying opportunities if I start scanning the Japanese pairs, like the Euro Yen, the Pound Yen, Aussie Yen, USD CAD, or not USD CAD, USD Yen. You know what I mean? So if we see a rally in the yen, you're probably going to see a rally in those other currencies as well. So let's get into the next pair. Let's go into the US 500. This is an interesting pair going on right now because I'm looking for selling opportunities right now. We can see that price has always been in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. It really doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that, right? So anytime that price was pulling back into this area of demand, I was trying to look for buying opportunities. Actually, there was a trade on US 100, the NASDAQ. I bought the long on that pullback because price never actually broke it. Let's go to US 100. Yeah, so that was the buy. It was just a really quick trade. I was looking for that quick pullbacks, but the US 500 we never really got it. Instead, it ended up removing it. We broke this upward channel, so we might have some support and resistance traders. We might have some breakout retest traders. We had breakout traders trying to sell us. We're also going to have supply and demand traders trading this zone right here. We just made a pullback up into that area. So I personally like this area for smaller time frame selling opportunities. Now I have to be careful. This market is rigged to go up. And if inflation continues to go and people think that this economy is all well, then it's probably going to continue to make all-time highs, right? I mean, if you've been selling this thing at all, you really haven't made any money, right? You're getting kind of lucky, in my opinion, or maybe you're in and out really quickly, which is cool. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not really going to call the top. Maybe I just find a quick trade 2 to 1, 1.5 to 1, 3 to 1, maybe on a smaller time frame in there. So really, what I'm trying to do is say, hey, I'm coming up into an interest of where sellers have taken control. You can see twice, 2 really big red candles. We broke that upward channel. We're probably going to have some breakout retest traders trying to sell here. We had the breakout traders. We're going to have supply and demand traders. Really interesting level right here, right? We're going to see if this zone holds, and it has been holding for about 3-4 days now. Now, really what I'm trying to do is maybe go down to a smaller time frame and capture some shorts. Haven't seen anything too interesting yet. We still got this pivot point demand zone still holding price. So I really have to see what happens with this demand zone on a smaller time frame. I kind of hope maybe prices either go up a little bit more, deeper into it, and then maybe I can capture a short. But right now, I don't see anything interesting. I am looking for selling opportunities, but it's not enough for me to completely sell this thing. Okay, let's have a look at the US 2000. This is one of the most obvious charts to analyze, in my opinion. We are here on the daily time frame, and this is basically how I've been playing this chart over the last year because it's really been in a sideways market. The US 500, the S&P, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, those indices have continued to make higher highs, higher lows the entire year. It just keeps pushing up. Yet the US 2000 has not. The small caps have not been able to do that. It's been stuck in a sideways range. So how do I personally play sideways ranges? I just buy low, I sell high. Clearly, you ask a 2-year-old kid, where do you think price is going to fall? And he looks at this chart, he's probably going to say down. Why? And you ask him, why do you think it's going down? He'd be like, because each time it's gotten up to this area, it seems to go down. So I think it's going to go down, and he's not wrong, right? Clearly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, 7, 8 times it's been going up into this area of supply slash resistance, whatever you want to call it, in this higher range. Sellers have taken control. If you're buying up in here, you probably haven't done too much winning. All right. So same thing for demand. This demand has been holding a very long time. I'm interested to see how this demand zone plays out. Anytime it's down here, I'm looking for buying opportunities, right? Am I just going to straight out sell here? No. I'm personally going to go down to maybe a smaller time frame, maybe like the 1 hour or 30-minute or 15-minute, and see if I can capture day trades. 5-minute time frame. Anytime the prices are up in here, I'm really just looking to be catching some selling positions, right? Pretty simple. If you're in a very obvious sideways market, just have an obvious analysis. It's clearly sideways. You sell high, you buy low. Some people might just want to sell and have a stop loss above here. You're not wrong. Or maybe if you want to buy down here and have a stop loss down here, you're not wrong. If price does end up breaking this area of demand, what I could see happen potentially, let's see if price comes down and wicks everybody out. This is going to be a big news headline if it does happen, as in the US 2000. Every market's going to be crashing at that point. This is the area that I'm going to be liking for buying opportunities. It's going to scare a lot of people out, potentially fake people out, before potentially the big next wave to the upside. If this thing does go all the way up, this thing has been going sideways for a long period of time. Usually what happens out of this, you either get a big move to the upside or a big move to the downside. If it goes down to the downside, I think you might get some type of buying action coming in down in this area of demand, because besides this area right below this sideways range, there's nothing really interesting in here that I want to be buying at, right? So this is the area that I like. Maybe a stop hunt. That's really what could happen. Price just shoots all the way down, touches this zone, takes out anybody that tried calling the bottom here in the market. You're going to have support and resistance. Range traders just stop everybody out, create fear in the markets. People are going to start selling their positions. You know, so it's going to be interesting what happens in that area. And if price goes back down to this area, I'm going to look for buying opportunities. That is going to be my goal. Okay, let's continue on. Let's actually talk about silver because it's one of the most heavily manipulated markets out there right now. Daily time frame, very interesting area prices are at right now with silver on the daily time frame. Throughout the last 2 years, or year and a half, I guess we could say, ever since the big scenario, the pandemic has hit. In my opinion, I think it's a great time to be buying this silver. I think you're getting at a good discount. It's at $22. If you really have a strong belief, if you're one of those silver bulls, then you definitely like this area for buying. Every single time it's came down to this area, we have seen buyers step in. So if we want to draw a general support line slash demand zone area, because that's really what it is, we've seen buyers come in. Now, long term in the economy, I see this thing doing absolutely amazing, right? I see silver going all the way up, breaking these highs up here, going past $30. But the question that I'm asking myself is, do they want anybody that's trading the ETFs or the CFDs long on that position? What I think that might possibly could happen is they absolutely stop hunt everybody, they shoot this thing down, and then they just stop everybody out, and then that's when the big bull rally happens. It really could happen. If you want to look at a next area of demand and where I think interest of buyers are coming in, it's way down in here in 1940. To be honest, I just don't see silver getting back down into these 19 levels. If it does, we know it's heavily manipulated, and you're not going to be actually being able to, you're not going to have the ability to actually probably pick up some physical silver at that price. You're obviously going to have to pay a huge premium, which you have been having to do for the last 2 years. I don't know what it would take for this to actually get down to this area. I think heavy manipulation, right? If we all know inflation is coming, if you have a view that the economy is going to get worse, which I personally do, I just don't see this or having $19 silver. If it does, I think it's a fantastic time to be buying it. I really do. What I think might happen, I think right now looking for buying opportunities, I've been doing it. I've been looking for them, trying to pick some up. But even if it drops like this, I really think that we might just have a stop hunt, really, liquidity search. Price shoots down in this general area. The news headlines are going to pick this up, saying, "Oh, it's dropped this major support line. It's back down below $20. Silver is the worst investment." Then what are they going to be doing? They're going to be buying as much as they can down in here to shoot this thing back up to the upside. Then this is definitely the time that you want to be picking up some silver, in my opinion, right? Just be aware that, hey, it's going to be potentially a bloodbath down in this general area, take a lot of people out, and then potentially just ricochet up. I don't know. That could happen. That's my thoughts on it. But personally, right now, I think it's a great time to be buying. I just personally don't see it coming down into this 19 zone, or I definitely don't see it coming back down into 16, $17. I just don't see it personally. Right now, I think it's a good time to be looking for buying opportunities. If you're a long-term holder, I personally think it's a good time just to buy. Don't wait for confirmation or anything like that. If you really do believe in the silver market and you think it's a great investment, then personally, you've got a great time to be buying this thing. All right. You might have to wait it out for this big whipsaw. It might not even happen. But hey, that's trading, right? That's my thoughts on silver. Love it. Love it where it's at. Right? Just be prepared. Potentially, maybe that whipsaw is coming out where it liquidates everybody, then shoots up to the upside. BTC, really quickly. Let's get into it. What's been going on? I've had this on my charts for a while now. We know it's in a clear downtrend. We've had areas of supply up in here, areas of supply up in here. We've had drop-based rallies, demand zones in here. This is really what my daily chart looks like. All right, selling opportunities here in these yellow boxes, and buying opportunities here in the yellow box down below. Really, that demand has held pretty well. If it goes back down and tests this demand zone, I think it's going to go lower into it, in my opinion, because it's been tested once. We just had this correction move, as in downtrend. We got the impulse wave, correction, impulse, potentially correction now. Maybe this impulse back to the downside goes deeper into this area of demand. Might just happen. All right. So that's my thoughts on that. If we go down to like the 4-hour and 1-hour, I did like this area of 1-hour demand, or sorry, 1-hour supply up in here. This was a zone that I was looking at for some scalping that we were talking about in the private group. If price actually manages to get up into this general area, it just missed it, right? A lot of these other cryptos have this exact same zone. So that's my thoughts on that. If it does manage to go back up there, I think you might just get a small correction, and then, but overall, I do think it's a good area for selling opportunities. And then if it does go back up into that daily zone that I marked out up here, then I think it's a good area for selling opportunities as well. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Long term, I like it. I think it's a good buy, but just depends on what your goals are and what you want to be doing in this market. All right, let's get into the trade review. We are hammering this home. Today's trade review we are going to be looking at is a trade review by Matt. Matt, my guy, let's get into it. He was trading Aussie USD, 4-hour, 5-minute time frame, His 4 hour was in a sideways market and an excellent lower time frame confirmation with a momentum break and opposing zones being removed. Price returned quickly, which was nice, but the return wasn't super smooth. Still really like the trade overall, and both targets were hit at 1-to-1 and 2-to-1. Happy with my trading this week, and doing a better job of finding setups and executing. That's awesome, Matt. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad you had a good trade. He was trading this Aussie USD on the 4 hour time frame. He was waiting for prices to come back into this 4 hour drop base rally demand zone. Clearly, there was a lot of buyers coming in here before. So he thought, hey, clearly there was a lot of buyers coming in here before. He's looking for value. He's going to go down to maybe a smaller time frame to see if he can pick up some long opportunities. I also like this zone as a complete 4 hour buy. I'm actually long New Zealand USD. This Aussie USD / New Zealand USD is the exact same 4 hour zone. I personally took the whole 4 hour zone. All right, we can quickly show you guys that. But he used this as his higher time frame, so he's taking a different approach, smaller time frames, in and out of trades. So price went down into that area. He then went down to his 5 minute time frame, and he wanted to see a lot of buyers coming in. This is what I'm referring to, waiting for buyers to show you evidence are coming in, right? Price came down into it over here, absolutely took off. Really nice imbalances. That was telling him that a lot of buyers were coming into the market. We removed areas of supply here, here, here. We broke down more momentum. I agree. I think it's a fantastic time to be buying this thing, right? I was also watching this on the New Zealand USD 4 hour, 5 minute, but ultimately I just took the 4 hour whole demand zone as more of a swing trade. What he did is he wanted to use this as a lower time frame setup. So in this case, he used a 4 hour as his highest time frame and a 5 minute as his entry time frame. I really like this trade. His targets were 1-to-1, 2-to-1. Congratulations, Matt, on that trade. You did a fantastic job. And you know what? I think we're going to end with that. Let's go over here to the YouTube. If you guys want to learn more about the supply and demand methodology, you can go over here to my tips playlist on my YouTube. And you can also check out the free mini course, complete guide of supply and demand methodology, basically what I was showing you guys here today. And if you guys wanted to join the private group, I'd love to have you going through the Moneyball trading program. Reach out to me. Feel free on social media at Moneyball Austin. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great time. Cheers. Bye-bye.